I bought this Delta Hybrid table saw in 2007, and when I finally got it down in my basement and started using it, I noticed it didn't cut very clean. I figured it was the blade it came with, but then I tried a better Freud blade and it still didn't cut that good. On checking the saw very closely, I found the saw's arbor was actually a little bit wobbly. With the belt removed and the saw tilted 45 degrees and the dial indicator, I could see there's still a little bit of variation even after I fixed it. So this saw actually used to be much worse than this. It really just needed the arbor replaced, but at the Home Depot they wouldn't just give me a new part. They said I could return the saw, but to haul it back out of the basement and then haul another one in the basement, that was just too much trouble. So I tried holding a stone against it while the arbor was running to grind away the high spot, but I found my stone was just vibrating, so potentially I was making it worse that way. The next thing I tried was with the stone attached to a big heavy piece of wood to steady it, but then I thought of something even better. These are two solid 1-inch steel bars, and by putting the stone in between them and clamping it, I could really make sure it's steady. So the stone I've got in there right now is actually a honing stone. It's not aggressive enough, so I'll try some sandpaper in front of it. So I'm just winding some string around the pulley so that I can then unwind it and turn it very slowly and consistently. This metric dial indicator is a bit more sensitive. So it looks like we still have 1/100th of a millimeter, which is about as good as it was before. The sandpaper really didn't work that well either, so next I tried a smaller stone, which was much coarser. I'm not sure if I'm making any more progress trying to grind this, so I just marked this is the high spot and all around just to see what will get ground off. It looks like my marks have been ground off all the way around, so I think that last 1/100th of a millimeter is just not possible with this technique. Now to get some perspective on 1/100th of a millimeter, if I just push on the whole arbor mount with my thumb, I can get way more deflection than that. In fact, just even pushing on the cast iron table with my index finger, I can get 1/100th of a millimeter. The other problem was that the flange that goes on this side is just made out of stamped sheet metal, and if I put it flat on the table like this, it would rock back and forth, so it wasn't even completely flat. So I sanded this face just by having a piece of sandpaper on the cast iron table, and after that I sanded this face parallel to this face here, and I did that just by hand and by checking it with a dial indicator as I went along. The most difficult cut to get really clean is a lengthwise cut on some really soft wood. So not quite planar smooth, but as good as one of these saws will do. So just for reference, this surface is straight off the table saw. Here is hand planed and sanded with fine sandpaper, and here is just hand planed. So yeah, if you have a cast iron table saw that doesn't cut as clean as it should, you might be able to fix it on cheap. But if you have a saw with a plastic base, those are just junk. Don't even bother.